Is it going?
Turn around.
Yes, turn around.
She knows the drill.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Observe, teacher turns around and listens only while observers debrief the observations. I noticed or I wondered statements.
Time started.
I noticed that she had her learning target for all the kids to see. She had nice visuals for, like right in front of them, the decoding strategies and the comprehension strategies for them to really pinpoint what they were going to be doing.
I noticed that she connected to the decoding strategy that they had been focusing on, and that they would still be using it, but their focus was shifting more to comprehension this time. I also noticed her doing the name and notice when one of the students was talking about something that they were using their schema, and she pointed that out to them.
I also noticed that she had sentence frames for them for when they were retelling, that they were able to use that support as well.
I noticed she made connections to what they were doing in shared reading as well.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like she reviewed the target multiple times with them throughout the lesson.
I noticed kids had a lot of opportunities for like oral rehearsal, verbally kind of expressing themselves, sharing that way, each of the students, which I thought was nice. And vocabulary highlighted, again, the noticing if they were using the vocabulary or not. Like, I think Teddy used a word and she noticed that, so that was nice.
In my opinion, I think the engagement went up as the lesson went along. I think at first they were kind of just, and it could have been that they noticed us all watching. So at first they were just kind of sitting there and they were just kind of like waiting to do something. But then as the lesson kind of progressed, they were more wanting to share and expand on their own thoughts and ideas.
I noticed they were in text quite a bit. They did a lot of reading. So that was nice, engaged in their texts.
I also did notice when they were going to their retelling part, she noticed that, I can't remember what student it was, but was reading the words on a page that has happened in our previous lessons, and she covered up the words to make sure like they weren't just rereading the book.
That was something we had talked about. So then she applied a strategy. More discussion, perhaps. Yeah.
All right. Anything else to share? Any other noticings or wonderings?
I guess I was kind of wondering about the little visual and how it had the target and everything on it, and I was just wondering if she has that same sort of thing, like the scaffolded version for like the different groups, or how that looks, if that's like always available for them to use.
I also wondered about the phones that the other kids were using, and if that was specifically for that group to like build fluency and listen to themselves read, or if that's like just a structure that she sets up in all of her groups so that it keeps the noise level down almost, so that she can really pay attention to that one student. And then made me think of the question she asked yesterday with my lesson of getting to hear more students read in the group. So just kind of made me start to think about that was intentional for that group, if it was a management for noise level, if
I wondered about that too.
That's all I
Okay.
have.
Okay, that's all I have.
And let's move on. Why don't you turn back around, Miss Emily? Thank you for being a good sport. All right, so now it is Miss Angus's turn to reflect on the lesson or on what you've heard, and then we will listen.
So I think while I was teaching the lesson, I realized that I had a lot for them to do. The questioning I think was too much. I should have just focused more on the retell. So I think next time that I will focus more on maybe one strategy and then the skill we're working on. To answer one of your questions, I can't remember them all. I don't always put the learning target on the table. That's something I do just if like it's something we're doing a lot. Like retelling is something we were focusing on for the year. So I created that just recently since it's something we're focused on and it's something that can be easily reused time and time again. For the whisper phones, that's something all my groups do typically. Because I was finding with this group of students, they love to talk really loud. So when they read really loudly, and it's hard to get my running record really accurate. So that's kind of something that they're really used to during my reading groups, is using that whisper phone so that I can hear the student that I'm working with. I do agree that their engagement wasn't quite as high as normal at the beginning. I think there are a lot of factors for that, but I also wonder if there's some ways I could add in some hooks to get them a little bit more excited about the lesson and the engagement in the lesson.
Anything? All right. Is there anything that we all want to wonder about? Any other questions that we have or reflections on this lesson or this conversation?
I was wondering if the questioning could, and maybe this isn't that we can move on with this, but like the questioning could be the reading strategy and then success criteria could be the retell. So if I can question as I read what was the main idea, what were the details, then I know I've done a good job if I can retell the story. But I didn't know, I couldn't remember how you exactly had it, but when you say you were doing a lot of things, I was just thinking, yeah, but they kind of serve a different purpose. Do you know what I mean? So is that a way that makes sense or not? I don't know. Just that struggle with what's the target and how do we show, how do they show if they've been successful? Just an idea that I wrestle with. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the way that I had it in my head, and I probably didn't explain it very well, was it was more I wanted them to be able to retell the nonfiction, and then the success criteria were the steps on the side. So checking, did I give main idea? Did I give the details? Did I use it in order? And did I use vocab from the text? So that was more the way I was thinking. Would be successful, but it would be cool to put the strategy in there somehow in the future. I think it was just a lot for the first time we had done the nonfiction retell in small group. So
I think they were very successful. I feel like that's a lot.
Okay. Anything else to add or question about?
I liked the retell visual and how it's kind of, since it's something you can use over time, I could see that being something that would be very valuable maybe for my groups too. So it's something I'd like to steal. Maybe from you.
just
Ditto.
A helpful visual mediator.
yeah, just need that yesterday.
Yeah, I like that too.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Before we stop, can I